What you need to know about repeat COVID infections and your ERISA long-term disability claim. According to medical research, every time a person gets infected with COVID, the risk of suffering serious long-term health problems dramatically increases. Now, COVID is a systemic disease. It affects a lot of body systems. And in a report published on November 10, 2022 in the journal Nature Medicine, it was documented or reported that repeat COVID patients are 3 times more likely to develop lung and heart problems and 60% more likely to have a brain condition with repeated infections. So the risk increases with each additional infection. So what are the implications for an ERISA disability claim if you've had multiple or repeated infections? Well, I will tell you, as an ERISA disability attorney on the front lines, disability carriers are struggling with how to manage COVID-19 disability insurance claims. There are lots of reasons they're struggling. Many of the disability carriers or plans are demanding evidence of a positive COVID test. And we know many times COVID test results have been a false positive because of the way that the test was administered or self-administered. And they are latching onto this to say, you don't have COVID, so all this stuff is subjective and we don't think you have a valid claim. They're going to take this position as a way to either not pay the benefits or limit the payment of benefits. So one of the things that certainly is key here is that we want to have, if possible, a positive COVID testing, and we want repeated positive COVID tests so that we can document the infection. But disability carriers don't understand how COVID can attack different body systems, the cardiovascular system, the pulmonary systems. They've all been implicated in long COVID, but they've also been implicated in causing other medical conditions such as postural orthostatic hypotension, known as POTS. So they're not getting the implications of the infection or the actual complications that we're seeing. Now, I think you got to document, as I said, the positive COVID result, the symptoms that are involved for each covered infection, the symptoms based on body systems, so cardiovascular, for example, pulmonary, cognitive, whatever the body system complications and symptoms should be documented. Also, if possible, if you can document what the symptoms were between each infection and how those symptoms between each infection manifested themselves and how they may have changed or increased with each infection, that is really going to be crucial. It's also important that we are documenting any new symptoms that you have from each subsequent infection. So we want to talk about what your symptoms were, let's say from a cardiovascular standpoint, and then any new cardiovascular symptoms or any new symptoms, be they pulmonary, neurological, cognitive, whatever. You also want to document the treatment you've been receiving for your symptoms and your response to that treatment. The disability carrier is going to want to see that in all of your medical records and the opinions of your physician. I want them to be considering the impact of each infection, the impact based on the body systems, how that potentially may have changed over time, and obviously how those symptoms and restrictions and limitations impact your ability to do your own or any other occupation. Quite often, the carriers are getting caught up with the diagnosis without considering all the things, this laundry list I just gave you. If you have questions about your COVID claim, if your claim has been slow walked, if it's been denied or terminated, call me at 727-894-3188. I can help you get the long COVID ERISA disability benefits that you deserve, regardless of where you live in the United States and regardless of who your disability carrier might be. 727-894-3188.